My name is Danny Forster, and I'm standing at the deepest point on planet Earth. And this is Build It Bigger. As an architect, I have traveled the world investigating some of the most incredible feats of engineering. And right now, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of the most dangerous construction project in the world.
Over 2.5 miles below the Earth's surface, the deepest gold mine ever is getting deeper by the day.
In 3, 2, 1.
At over 12,000 feet under the Earth, where earthquakes are a constant threat, 5,700 of the world's toughest workers face a job site with temperatures hotter than 150 degrees.
My God, burning hot water.
Where makeshift supports hold back millions of tons of rock.
I'm gonna lose it.
All for one of the most valuable metals on the planet.
Solid gold. That's not even a joke, that's actually solid gold.
One South African mine is attempting to dig deeper than ever before. An hour outside of Johannesburg, the Mponeng mine is already the deepest mine on the planet, a subterranean gold factory 2.5 miles down. With more tunnels than the New York City subway and the world's longest elevators. However, most of the original gold deposit has already been mined, and the rest will be gone in just 8 years. So to keep the mine going, geologists have been drilling and testing in all directions, searching for more gold. They finally found it, a new deposit called a reef, located over 3 miles from the surface, holding over 140 tons of gold, worth over $6 billion.
So if you didn't go deeper, within about 7 or 8 years, you would have simply mined all the gold that you can get at that depth.
That's right.
So this new project gives you the potential opportunity to extend the life of the mine by how many years?
The life of mine with the current project, the life of mine will be extended to 2029.
2029?
That's correct.
So instead of 7 or 8 years, we're talking about 20 years.
That's right, yes.
While the team mines out the final gold deposits in the existing mine, they've also added a new deepening team. Their job? Tunnel 7,000 feet deeper to reach the new reef, one blast at a time. The commute to a job a third of the way into the Earth's crust takes an hour and a half. The trip starts in the longest elevator in the world, a 50-ton beast that carries 120 miners at a time.
You know, given where we're going, Gordon, you guys didn't do much to kind of soften the blow and make this thing look nice.
This is it. This is mining. This is reality.
You ready?
Okay, right, let's go. Right on key, Billy.
All right, here we go.
The elevator travels at 40 miles an hour.
This pretty much feels like you're free falling down into the earth.
Now 1,000 feet to the surface, 2,000 feet. I'm now deeper than the Grand Canyon. I'm now almost at 8,000 feet.
For every 100 feet we drop, the rock gets 1 degree hotter.
Every couple hundred feet, it gets a little bit hotter, a little bit more pressure, and you can feel that inside your head. We're now approaching the bottom. This will be 12,600 feet. Keep in mind, this is the deepest point that any mine has ever worked at in the history of mining.
From the bottom of the elevator, it's another 1.5 miles to the face of the tunneling project.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's morning, by the way.
It's the blackest black that you have ever seen in your life, is underground, because there's no other light source at all.
I mean, we are so far from the sun right now.
Well, 12,000 feet further than we were this morning.
The closer you get
the active face of where the rock is, the hotter it gets. So as I step down, right, every single step, I can feel the temperature getting slightly higher and slightly higher. And right there, that is the very deepest point in this mine.
It'll take 600 blasts to reach the new gold reef. They're prepping for blast number 540. And blasting in the deepest spot on Earth is unlike any other kind of blasting. Faults scattered throughout the rock make earthquakes and rock falls a constant danger. Punishing geothermal heat also makes the working face a scalding 150 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my God. That's burning hot water. The water that's being heated by this exposed quartzite is literally brought to the point of burning my hand just from the energy from the Earth.
Energy from the Earth, and then, of course, the drilling.
Okay, so Gordon, this exposed wall right here, this is the wall that we need to get out of our way.
Yes.
There's gold back there.
Yes.
So this wall has to continue to push deeper into the Earth to enable us to go up and straight out to get that gold.
Correct.
The rock is riddled with faults, which means the energy from the blast needs to be carefully controlled or risk creating an earthquake. They use a diamond-shaped blasting pattern that concentrates the first pulse of energy into the center, opening up a cavity for a second and third round of smaller charges to safely break up the edges of the face.
Okay, now why do that? Why not just have an even amount everywhere?
Well, you want the most energy in the center because this is the hardest place to break the rock in. As you move outside, you want less damage. If you damage the rock on the outside, you have to put more support in it. You want to keep the ground as stable and as fracture-free as possible on the outside.
The dynamite is mixed and tested on site.
Gordon, what are we doing right now?
Right, we're going to test the explosives to see if it's mixed properly. There's two ways to do it.
Yeah.
With a scale or the miner's way. Put some on your finger, tongue out. Taste, battery taste, it's good.
So if it feels like I'm licking a battery, I'm happy.
That's it.
Just lick it. Just spit him out and lick it.
Put it on your tongue.
Oh, God.
Got a good bite to it.
Oh, my God. That is awful.
Looks like it's good enough to use.
Yep, it's good. So blow up. So like loading a bayonet, we have now at the tip of my lance the explosive, the cable right here.
Goes in that hole?
This can't actually go off, can it?
It's very safe.
Very, very unlikely. Okay.
Push it all the way in.
Lance is now in.
That's it.
The crew pumps 3 gallons of explosives into each drill hole.
Okay, so now the hole
It's filled with explosives.
loaded with explosives, and essentially we're embedding that bomb, that small piece of dynamite, deep inside of it, and then this becomes the way in which we tie all the different 64 holes together.
That's it. And once that's done, we can push the button.
The crew retreats 1,000 feet up in the tunnel to detonate.
All right, so let me just kind of put this in perspective. Where we're standing right now, we're about 1,000 feet away from a ton of explosives in a wall down there. We're going to set it off, and we are going to be exposed to that explosion. It's going to be happening right down there.
In a cramped space like this, each 1.5-ton blast can generate a massive shockwave.
Gordon, you said something before about when the blast goes off beyond ear protection.
Yes, keeping your mouth open protects your eardrums. It allows the equalization as the shockwave travels through.
So I'm to open my mouth during the detonation so as the shockwave doesn't blow up my eardrums.
That's it.
Okay. This is really one of those moments in life where you gotta wonder, how did I get here?
How did I ever do it? Why am I doing it?
What am I doing down here? I'm 12,000 feet under the Earth's surface. I'm in South Africa. I'm holding a detonator, and behind me are thousands and thousands of pounds of explosives, and I'm about to set them off. The charge is live. All right, here we go, guys. Open your mouths, cover your ears. In 3, 2, 1. That's it. We're alive. The blast is done. My eardrums are safe. Look at these smiling, happy miners. We did it.
That blast fractured 100 tons of rock.
So Gordon, that's exactly where the charges were set, right there, right?
That's right where those bolts are, that last line of bolts. That's where the face was before we blasted it.
So Gordon, how much did we advance the tunnel with this blast?
10.5 to 11 feet.
Incredible rock that is 12,500 feet under the Earth's surface, rock that has never been seen by human eyes. It's been here for billions of years, and right now, today, Gordon and his team have just created the new deepest point on planet Earth. It's pretty good, man, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty amazing.
Coming up, I travel through 2 miles of tunnels looking for gold.
Oh, dear God.
When an earthquake hits. In South Africa, the world's deepest mine is blasting 40 feet deeper each day, tunneling towards a reef of new gold worth $6 billion. Almost 3 miles down, each blast risks rockfalls and earthquakes. And with the latest blast detonated just moments ago, it is essential to quickly support the new tunnel face.
Once the blast is complete, the now newly exposed rock is susceptible to the nearly 13,000 feet of pressure pushing down in the tunnel. So to make sure this is safe before any more mining can happen, these guys have to re-support the roof and keep this ceiling up above us.
The temperature at the face is 150 degrees Fahrenheit, and ammonia fumes from the blast fill the air. Regardless, the team has got to begin work. They do it with a grid of 33 steel rods called split sets. The split sets work like giant screws, pulling the layers of rock together. They're driven 4 feet into the rock face, each holding back 17 tons of rock, 500,000 pounds in all.
Big day.
The team installs them with a hydraulic drill and a motorized screwdriver.
All right, so to get us started, Johan, why don't you drill the first hole, I'll drill the second hole. Go for it. So the first thing that's happening right now is that Johan flips the switch and immediately water starts pouring out to cool down the rock. All right, so there it is. Now we have a drilled hole, 41 millimeters wide, hollow, and ready for steel. Now check this out. You're gonna watch them change bits. Out goes the drill, in goes the screwdriver. Yeah, look at that. All right, let's screw it in. All right, can I give it a go? All right, Johan's stepping out, I'm stepping in.
Each drill hole is just 1 millimeter smaller than the steel rod.
Yeah!
So when the rod is driven in, that 1 millimeter difference creates enough friction to hold back all 17 tons of rock.
That's what it takes to push this tunnel just 12 more feet towards becoming the very deepest occupiable point on planet Earth.
When complete, this tunnel will be the central highway to 140 tons of gold. Once there, miners will use smaller tunnels called crosscuts to get it out. Miners are already using this method at level 120, just 600 feet above us. It's a 2-mile train ride, and then a mile-long hike to get to the exposed reef. And it's here we'll be blasting for gold.
I have to say, one of the most unnerving things about being on this project is you are so physically far from the shaft, the elevator, that if something goes wrong, you're very, very far from the escape hatch.
The last 120 yards to the reef require a 22-degree climb.
Essentially what I'm looking at feels like a mine from like 1880. We're looking at this amazing old wood ladder going all the way up this 20-degree incline. And that up there where you see the light is, that's where we're headed. That is where the gold is up there. Oh my God. It's just become clear to me that where I just came from, that ridiculous ladder, that was actually just the beginning. Look where we're headed next. dear God. You've got to be kidding me. This is not what I was expecting. Is there any other way to get there other than this?
No.
Okay. You get prepared emotionally and luminescently. Okay.
Let's go.
Carry on.
The biggest danger when digging 12,000 feet down is triggering a seismic event. There are dozens a day down here, and nowhere to go if one hits. To minimize the disturbance to the rock, the tunnels are kept as small as possible.
Now, as I walk up this precarious angle, just keep in mind, right, look to either side. It's these wood rock packs that are just literally holding this rock up, right? This rock, as you can see, has had its support taken out. They've removed the rock. So the inclination of this geology is to simply come right down on top of us.
This support is needed to withstand the massive seismic shifts caused by the blasting.
So, Clive, on a given day like today, how many seismic events happen, for example?
We could have hundreds of seismic events, but most of them happen during the blasting time.
You mean when the blast just went off like 4 seconds ago?
No, that's for not the development blast, but the face blasting.
Okay, so the blasting is going to happen here this evening.
At the face, yeah. So we're on a sequential, on a centralized blasting method.
Everything's cool.
That's all I like.
Okay, Clive, my God, that was definitely it. I definitely thought that was it. I definitely was like, well,
No,
we're fine.
Can I just continue?
Oh yeah, Clive, just continue with what you're saying. Don't let the neighboring explosion in the rock impede your progress. What's happening inside of you, man? You're like a metronome.
The biggest mistake you do, Danny, if you start running, you're running into the danger.
Yeah.
If you stand still, if something happens, just stand still, because the moment you jump up, you can hit your head, fall over the rocks, and that's how you get out.
By the time you've heard something, it's already too late.
I knew he'd say that.
That tremor could have loosened the overhanging rock. And to make the area safe, we've got to resupport it.
All right, so now what we're doing is we're going down to put in these supports which keep the rock faced up. And to be perfectly frank, we're going to do this as quickly as possible because there was just an earthquake that happened about 4 minutes ago. And that means we just want to get out of here quickly. There are earthquakes every single day in this mine. They happen while blasting, and they're blasting right now. So we are essentially next to a very high-risk area. So it's this guy right here that, I mean, just like a column, is holding up the roof. And we can't do any drilling. No safe work can happen until we put in these support columns. I can't deal with it. I'm going to lose it.
No, don't. That's why we put in support. Understand?
These 4-foot-high steel jacks push against the overhead rock, supporting a whopping 10 tons apiece. To install the jack, they first clear the ground of any loose rock.
So as you can see, what we're doing is essentially wedging this thing in, pushing it down solidly into the ground, and then pushing it tight up to the rock face. And this becomes a strut or a column that holds back this rock. So look at that. You can see right there, just like a jack that you jack up a car to change a tire, same principle. He's jacking it up. It's pressing up against the rock. And now this thing is one solid column, one of many, that's keeping this roof safely above my head.
Coming up, servicing the world's deepest elevator means slicing